The smarter you are, the harder it is to be okay. Nobody tells you that. Everyone talks about the benefits of intelligence, the grades, the problem solving, the success. Nobody talks about what happens at 2 a.m. when your brain simply will not stop. Because here is the thing about intelligent people. Their brain is not just thinking. It is thinking about thinking, analyzing the analysis, replaying conversations that ended 3 years ago, finding problems in situations that have not even happened yet. And the cruelest part? They cannot turn it off. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why the most intelligent people you know are often the ones suffering the most quietly, and what psychology says about it. Picture this. It is 2 a.m. Everyone else is asleep, but one person is wide awake, staring at the ceiling, not because anything is wrong, not because there is a crisis, just because their brain found a thread, a small moment from earlier today, and pulled it. And now they are 3 hours deep into a spiral that started with one sentence someone said at lunch. Did they mean it that way? Were they annoyed? Have I been too much lately? Am I always like this? Is this why people leave? No answers. Just more questions, just more thinking. This is not anxiety. This is not weakness. This is what happens when you have a brain that is too powerful to leave things alone. Psychologists at Yale University found something fascinating. People with higher cognitive ability, what we commonly call intelligence, process emotional and social information at a significantly deeper level than average. They notice more. They analyze more. They feel the weight of things that most people simply let slide off. Researchers call this hyperactive agency detection, the brain constantly scanning for meaning, patterns, and threats, even when none exist. Think about what that actually means. A regular brain hears "you seem tired today" and moves on. An intelligent brain hears "you seem tired today" and spends the next 4 hours decoding it. Was it concern? Criticism? A hint that I am failing? Have I been performing poorly? Do they see something I cannot? The same brain that solves complex problems at work comes home and applies that exact same processing power to a single offhand comment. And it cannot stop, because stopping feels like missing something important. Here is what makes this even more fascinating. Overthinking is not a flaw in intelligent people. It is a feature that went too far. Research from King's College London found that higher intelligence is directly linked to a more active default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for self-reflection, future planning, and mental simulation. In simple terms, the intelligent brain is always running simulations. What if this happens? What if I said that instead? What if they meant this? What if I am wrong? For our ancestors, this was survival. The person who anticipated danger before it arrived stayed alive. But in modern life, there is no tiger. There is just a text message left unread, a meeting that felt slightly off, a decision that may or may not have been right, and the brain runs the same threat detection program on all of it, every single day, with no off switch. Psychologist Susan Nolan Hoxema, who spent decades researching overthinking, found something that stops people in their tracks. Overthinking does not solve problems. It creates them. Every extra hour spent replaying a situation does not bring you closer to peace. It moves you further from it. Here is the paradox that nobody sees coming. Intelligent people overthink because they believe thinking harder will eventually produce the answer. It will not, because most of what intelligent people overthink about, relationships, meaning, purpose, whether they are enough, does not have a logical answer. These are not equations. These are human experiences. And the brain that is extraordinary at equations suffers deeply when it tries to solve what cannot be solved. The philosopher who maps out every possibility still lies awake at 2 a.m. The strategist who plans 10 steps ahead still cannot plan their way out of loneliness. The analyst who sees patterns in everything still cannot find the pattern that tells them they are going to be okay. And the harder they think, the more trapped they become. Because you cannot think your way out of something that thinking created. So what does psychology actually say helps? Not more thinking, not better thinking. Pattern interruption. Research from the University of Michigan found that the most effective way to break an overthinking cycle is not to engage with the thoughts, but to physically interrupt the state that produces them. Movement. cold water, a change of environment, calling someone. Not to distract from the thinking, but to signal to the nervous system that the threat detection program can stop running. The second thing that helps, and this one is counterintuitive, naming the spiral. When intelligent people label what is happening, I am overthinking right now. This is a loop, not reality. The prefrontal cortex regains control from the amygdala. In simple terms, naming it takes power from it. And the third thing, scheduled thinking time. Psychologists found that giving the overthinking brain a specific 20-minute window to analyze, worry, and process, and then closing that window, actually reduces rumination throughout the rest of the day. Because the brain stops looping when it trusts it will get its turn. So if you are the person who cannot turn their brain off, your intelligence is not the problem. Your intelligence is extraordinary. The problem is that nobody ever taught your extraordinary brain how to rest. You were praised for thinking, rewarded for analyzing, celebrated for seeing what others missed. But nobody ever told you. It is okay to let a thought pass without following it. It is okay not to know the answer. It is okay to stop. The most intelligent thing your brain will ever do is learn when to be quiet. If this described someone you know, or someone you see in the mirror, share this. They need to hear it. Subscribe for more psychology that actually explains the way your mind works. We will see you in the next one.